Move was founded by John Africa. John Africa gave Move one simple, common belief, and that is to respect, revere, and be protective of life. Everything that's alive, not in an abstract sense, but in a very real sense. We're talking about human life, animal life, plant life, the water, the air, the soil that feeds us, you know, the sky above us, life, anything that's alive. And in demonstrating our belief in life, the first demonstrations that Move engaged in was at the zoo in defense of animal life. It was against DuPont Chemical and Dow Chemical for their poisoning of the earth, the air, the water. Demonstrations at unsafe boarding homes for the elderly, where the elderly were being physically and emotionally abused, where their social security checks were all but stolen from them. We had demonstrations at the reservoir in Philadelphia, where our drinking water comes from, you know, protesting that. And these were the things that Move engaged in. And because of our peaceful demonstrations in accordance with our belief, we became the enemy of those running this system, of those who don't care about life at all. Their God, their belief is money and status and keeping this system afloat, keeping it going at all costs, even at the cost of their own health, their own lives, the lives of their babies and their grandbabies. They don't care. So anybody that doesn't care about themselves and their immediate families, you can't expect them to care about you. So what that really comes down to, the sister asked, you know, at the beginning of this program about what freedom is, what freedom means to you. Freedom is one thing: the absence of this system. As we
That's right.
know. That's freedom.
That's right.
Absence of the system. Because as long as it exists, you will never, ever be free. So that's how Move started. When we continued to have peaceful demonstrations, the cops would come and audio tape what Move was saying. And they started videotaping Move. And when they really understood John Africa's message, and they understood it very well, that's when they realized they had a problem. And so the first thing that they did was offer Move people money in terms of funding and jobs and things like that. But thanks to John Africa, Move could not be fooled, and we cannot be bribed or bought off. So when they saw that, they were like, we really got a problem on our hands now, you know. And that's when they came with the brutality and intimidation, and Move men were beat bloody, beat into broken limbs, into concussions. Move women were beat, pregnant Move women were beat, stomped, kicked into miscarriage. May 13th was not the first time that Move babies were killed by this system. In 1976, March of 1976, Phil and Janine Africa lost a baby. Their 3-week-old baby boy was knocked from Janine's arms and trampled to death by police. Nobody ever held accountable, you know. Other pregnant Move women, Janet and Lee Singh, were pregnant, went to the store, the cops stopped them, threw them stomach first up against the police van, handcuffed them, locked them up, kept them in the van, would not let them go to the bathroom. They just tortured them, and they both suffered miscarriages. Rhonda, Africa, Bertie's mother, she lost a baby in the early days of MOVE. She was beat so bad by police while she was pregnant that when she did have her baby had black and blue marks on her.
Oh my God.
Now you know that there is something definitely wrong with the system where you can be victimized by police brutality before you're even born.
Yeah.
You know? So these are the things that MOVE suffered. I mean, when the system, the government, those running the system realized that they could not stop us, could not intimidate us or buy us off or anything, this is what they came with, you know. MOVE, you know, being given the wisdom of John Africa, made it clear, took a stand. MOVE said, we are a peaceful people. We are uncompromisingly opposed to violence. But we are neither stupid nor confused. We understand the difference between violence and self-defense. Self-defense is the law of life, the law of God, the instinct in every living being in existence, from the tiniest to the biggest. Self-defense is instinctive, and you are not violent when you defend yourself.
That's right.
But you are violent if you allow yourself to be attacked and abused and you refuse to defend yourself, because then you are masochistic. You are ultimately suicidal, and you can't get any more violent than that. And MOVE is neither violent, violent, masochistic, or suicidal. We believe in the principle of self-defense, and we understand clearly that nobody has the right to take that instinct away from us. Away from us. So,
It was a strategy of John Africa that if they came and attacked us with sticks, we would fight them back with sticks. If they came with guns, we would defend ourselves with guns. And it was a strategy that we took, and because they had sent several of our members to state prison and sentenced them to state time. And we found out, we had got information from city officials that was working, kind of supporters for the organization, that they was going to come and raid us and attack us. Just like they did, what Ramona was saying, March of '76, when they attacked our house at 2 or 3 in the morning and killed our Janine and Phil's baby, Life for Africa. They crushed the baby's head. And the next day, them cops came out, several cops came out and said they had dropped their police hat and nightstick, and they said, can we get our hat and nightstick back? They actually came to our headquarters after killing our baby and beating our family members and locking them up. And we told them no. We have actual pictures of the helmet and everything that we took, and you know, and it was put out in the press, you know, when that situation had happened. And to this day now, not one cop has ever been charged with murder. And one of the things that they were saying was that there was no baby that was killed in there because we didn't have a birth certificate. Our women were having babies since they came to MOVE at our headquarters. They was having babies home naturally. They was having babies at our house naturally by themselves, you know, with their husbands. And they would give birth. To this day now, and we going back to the early 70s, and we now in 2015, our women, our young MOVE members, the females, are still having babies home naturally without birth certificates, without the help of doctors, okay? And that was another thing that they didn't want John Africa's influence out there like that for other women, you know, not relying on hospitals and doctors to have their babies.
yeah, they make too much money.
It's all rooted down to money.
Money.
And the thing is, this confrontation in 1977 went on for a whole year. And 2 months, 10 months into the confrontation, when we first came out in 70, we told them that our first demand was that all our brothers and sisters be released unconditionally. I remember the commissioner, they even sent people from Washington, D.C. Where they told us, without the media being there, they said, before we let any of your people out of jail, we would kill all you niggas and spicks and white trash in it. Because our sister Sue Africa, she was white, in there with a baby. I was there, you know, they seen Lee Sing was in there, another white sister. And they said they would kill all of us before they let our people out of jail. A year later to that day, the strategy John Africa pulled through, came through, and our people, they came to us, and our people was released unconditionally. The only thing that they didn't adhere to during that confrontation, our demands, was that Jimmy Carter bring our people in a helicopter in front of our headquarters. But they did everything but that. They refused to acknowledge that Jimmy Carter knew about the confrontation. But our people were released unconditionally. This is something that a lot of people don't know, because it was like a real slap in the face to this government.
Rizzo said he would not negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah, and he said that his army, his police force, would raid Cuba and win. And 2 months after, several months after that, he raided our headquarters, attacked our people, shot over 10,000 rounds of ammunition at babies, pregnant women, and our men. Everybody came out the house alive, uninjured, except the police. They was all shot up. One was killed by their own firing, what they call friendly fire, and our people were sent to jail and given 30 to 100 years. To this day now, when they dropped the bomb on May 13th, they killed 11 of our family members. 5 of them were children. Ramona and Birdie Africa was the only ones that came out alive. To this day now, not one cop was ever charged with murder. And Birdie stated on 2020, a show that I think Gerardo Rivera had did with them, or somebody from 2020 back then. He told them, when they asked him about, they was coming out the house, he said that the older members said, the kids are coming out the house. And every time they opened the door to try to let the kids out, they were shot at. And he said, what you mean shot at? He said, ta, 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 ta. That's all he heard, the door was being shot at. And they refused to let him out. They refused to let him out. And because of this, our people to this day now are still in jail. 30-something years later, like Debbie said earlier, Ramona said earlier, not one of them was charged with weapon charges. How are you not going to be charged with weapon charges when the cop was shot with a bullet? You see what I'm saying? A bullet that they did, you know, they did self-shot, but our people still in jail and refuse to be given parole. And Debbie Africa was 8 months pregnant. Janine Africa that's in there, she had a baby, it was a year old.
That's the baby.
The baby was a year old.
No, Mike is right behind you, the baby Mike.
That Debbie gave
He was born in prison. Now he got like 4 or 5 kids. His wife had all her babies at home. You know, it continues. It never stopped. And this is the stuff that they refuse, they acknowledge, and don't want to put out to the public, because it would show that they're the ones, the wicked, corrupt ones that want to destroy, kill us all, and kill anybody off that even makes an attempt to try to do, you know, right, to get away from the system.
Yeah. I just wanted to make a couple of points. One very simple one. In August of 1978, one cop was killed, and we all know he was killed by friendly fire, a term that we did not invent, you know. And 9 people went to prison for 30 to 100 years. In May of 1985, 11 MOVE people were killed. and nobody went to jail.
Right.
Now, how can they explain that? How can they explain that? You know, that's one thing. Another point I want to make is that Move does not believe in mysticism or spookism, anything like that, but we do believe in the power of righteousness, of Mama Nature, our God, the God we believe in. We believe in that force, okay? So when Carlos was talking about the year-long standoff from May of 77 to May of 78, in March of 78, Frank Rizzo was so determined to try to break Move before he had to give ground. He got a court order to starve Move out. They turned off our water. They would not allow any food, you know, to be given to Move, to be brought in there. They stopped the mail. Did they stop the trash pickup?
Everything.
Stop everything.
They shut the whole area.
Okay. So, close to 2 months into this starvation blockade and us having no running water in the house, the water that we had amassed, had, you know, accumulated, started running out. You know, it was getting very low. It was running out. You know what happened? It rained, and it rained, and it kept on raining, to the point that some people were like getting spooked, like, what is this, 40 days and 40 nights of rain? You know, I mean, people were scared. They were like, what is going on here? But Move knew what was going on. Rizzo turned our water off. But our God, our mama, turned it back on, you know, and gave us access to, you know, get more water. And it was Rizzo that had to give ground, you know, and as Carlos said, bring our family, our political prisoners to us, release them, and, you know, take down the starvation blockade and all of that. The thing is, because Rizzo had to give ground, and those above him, because it wasn't just Rizzo, you know, they were so mad that they weren't about to let it go. And that's why they came back August 8th talking this nonsense about we had to leave our house, housing code violations, you know, in our house. Since when do these people care about poor people, revolutionary people living in a house that has housing code violations? Since when? I worked in housing. I worked for tenants. And I know what you go through trying to get the city license and inspection to come out and get landlords to fix, you know, things in your house when your hot water tank, you know, goes kaput, or your heater, or your roof is leaking. I mean, I know what you go through. But they want people to believe that they were so concerned about Move that they didn't want us living in a house that had housing code violations. At that time, living, you know, under the teaching of John Africa, right there when John Africa was feeding Move people so much energy, so much strength. There was no heat in that house. We had wood burning stoves. There was no gas, okay? There was no gas heat. Wood burning stoves. You can live without that. People lived without it for eons, you know. But I just wanted, you know, to point the thing out about what happened during that starvation blockade, how powerful our God is, our mother is, Mother Nature. And I just wanted to.
One thing I wanted to mention too was, before the blockade came up, Rizzo had made a statement. It was all the news media came out. Janine Africa, Delbert Africa had called for a press conference, and the press came out, and the blockade was supposed to come up in 2 more days or something. And Delbert made a statement to everybody. All the people, supporters and everybody came out there. The news media, everybody. Even the cops was out there, like, listening to what we was going to say. And throughout that whole confrontation, we didn't have no windows, like Ramona said, no heat, nothing in there like that. Our windows were slats on them. There was no, we took all the glass windows out for the confrontation in case they threw, busted up the windows or threw tear gas or whatever. And Delbert made it clear that if anybody was to die because of this starvation blockade, their blood would be on Frank Bristol's hand because he's the one that ordered this blockade up. And throughout the winter months, it was one of the coldest winters in Philadelphia back then, at that time. They would call us on the phone and say, "Where's Sharon Penn at?" Because she was the white member, Lee Singh. She was pregnant. They saw her pregnant. They thought she had died in there in that winter. And they kept saying, "Where's Sharon Penn? You're going to be charged with murder. Where's Sharon?" They didn't say nothing about Janine, I guess, because she was black. They was focusing on her, Sharon Penn. And I guess her family was right along with her. And right before the day when Del called a press conference, and he told the media and Rizzo and everybody that if anybody died, it's going to be on his hand. Lee Singh came out, Janine came out with her baby, and Lee Singh came out with twins. The white member. She had twins in the heart of winter in their house. And they were just as healthy as, there were so many people, they went crazy. The people went crazy. The media, the cops, all we could hear them, when they saw her, the police officials, they said, "God damn it, the bitch is alive." And they started running to their superiors, calling their superiors, "She's alive, she's alive." At that point, when they put that blockade up, people was demonstrating, walking with bands and drums. They was trying to bust them that block. They blocked off like a 3-block radius for 2 months. And everybody that tried to come there, they was literally attacking them. They got so much worldwide pressure. There was so much demonstrations in Philadelphia and throughout the world that they was trying to keep quiet. That right before the 2 months was up and into the blockade, that's when they came and said, "What do y'all want?" And like we told them, all we want our people, our first demand was that our people be let out of jail unconditionally. And they did.
Leave us alone.
And they did. Now, just think about that real good, and you'll see why they came back 3 months later and attacked our headquarters like they did. Early in the morning. They came with every intention of killing every family member in that house. And it didn't work like they wanted to, but because they didn't kill them, they've been in jail ever since.
And that's why they came back in '85 with a bomb. Because they were determined to do
and
what
also,
they failed to do.
On August 8th, Mumia was, a lot of people don't know, but it's a few scenes in some of them shows that Mumia was at that press conference when they was with Frank. He was there. But what they don't show is Frank Rizzo focused on Mumia and threatened him at that press conference.
Yeah.
He threatened him. We're here with our arms, but we're not here to attack or kill anybody. We're here to defend our family and our kids, our women, and our babies. And that our first demand be that our people be released from prison unconditionally. They were sent to prison, unjustly. They didn't commit no crimes, whatever. Every crime that they was charged with, it was the cops that committed that crime on our family. And that we wasn't backing up. And we did that so the world can see that this time when they attacked us, the whole world will be able to see. Because the media was there. That's their thing. They love that kind of stuff. Yeah. They was out there, day and night, setting up camps, waiting for something
for this confrontation. Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, when we came out that day, they made everybody back off. All the people that was out there, like shouting, like, "On the move, yeah, we want to hear more." It was like it was a few thousand people. They just backed them up, and they was with riot gears and everything. They backed the people up and backed them up and put blockades up. And at that point, I said, they coming here to kill us. I just knew, I said, they want to kill us. And we was all ready at that point to die. But Phil and everybody was out on the platform still speaking. you know, and telling the people that we wasn't backing up and y'all shouldn't back up. Out of the clear blue skies, a lady jumped over the platform and ran towards us.
Guess
it was
who
Pam
that
Apple.
was?
It was Pam Apple. She came running. We didn't really know her. She just came running, and all the people said, "Charge!" They just threw all and backed all the cops up.
All right.
They backed all the cops up, and we was there at that point. They just backed off and said, "No, you know, they feel like there's nothing we could do." Them people stayed out there for days and days taking shifts. Just blocking
Wow.
all out, sleeping on the sidewalk.
This is the community.
The community.
That's important. I think very few people know that.
Yeah.
Very few people know
They
that.
stood there, and it was what they call it, a wait, just wait, you know.
Yeah, watching.
They waited. So in the wintertime, they just knew we was gonna come out of there, running out their house. We need some heat. We need some food. We need some gas, electricity, whatever. And it didn't go that way.
People are trained and duped into thinking that those running this system have all the power, you know, have everything to stop you from doing what's right. When in fact, it's the people who really have the power. And when you really understand that and believe that, and are therefore able to take a strong stand, you know, that's great. That's what really sends a message to these people too. And that's what John Africa was showing this government, those running this system, back in 1977. It's like, look, we are peaceful people, but you are not going to be beating us up, locking us up for nothing without us fighting back. Now, you come at us with fists, we're going to fight back with fists. Come at us with sticks, we're going to fight back with sticks. Come at us with guns, we will defend ourselves with guns. Now, you know, you do what you got to do, because we're going to do what we got to do. And that kind of strong message made these people like, whoa, wait a minute, you know. Alternative to the capitalist system, any system outside of life, any,
Reform.
what do you call, reform world system, external system is life's system. Life system works without fail. This system that we're living under doesn't. I mean, life system gives you the sun. The reform world system gives you a light bulb that continuously blows out. You have to continuously replace. The sun don't blow out. All you got to do is acknowledge all that this system have done to us and all of life. What are we getting from it? Why are we so adamant about holding on to it? What are we getting from it?
People don't realize how enslaved they are to this system. If they don't go to a store and buy an apple, it's like they don't know that an apple came from a tree. Who are they paying? What earth are they paying to take that fruit and food, putting it in the supermarket and making us pay for it? Who gave them the right? And anywhere you go, before this civilization came about and started imposing their will and their misteachings and their misguidance, look what it's gotten to now. The river, the Hudson River, at one point you could see the bottom of the Hudson River. Okay? You can't see an inch into that water no more. One example from our women, when they started having babies home, there was a lot of supporters back then that started having their babies home because they came to our women and was getting, you know, wisdom that John Africa gave them and passed on to them. And they started having babies home, you know? So, I mean, it's like John Africa explained to us. He said, if you stop polluting the Hudson River today, if you stop polluting, it eventually run clear, but it's not going to be clear overnight. But when you stop polluting it will start running clear of itself. And the mind works on the same principle as the river. Your mind will cleanse itself when you start believing in this system that has really grabbed a hold of our minds. It has actually got so bad that you got women, they got to go to the hospital. It's like it's beyond their comprehension to go to stay home, to do something that's so natural as having a baby.
Unlike any other so-called leaders that I have ever known of, John Africa lived with us and lived like us. Had less in terms of anything material than any of us did. Clothes, didn't care about money, anything material he didn't care about. All he cared about was life. And showed us all life. And showed us what his attention was on, what meant something to him. Life. With us, he never tried to get out of work or get away from us. You could walk in a room and John Africa would say, "How you doing, sweetie?" Say, "Oh, I'm good, I'm okay." "No, you're not." And he would start talking to us and bringing out, what was happening with us, what was bothering us or whatever. And he never tried to get out of that. He never tried to get away from us, like, "Look, I can't be bothered with this now,"
Right.
Never, ever that.
If there was hungry dogs, I remember he would send us, make sure that, go get some food for that dog. Anywhere we was at. I remember homeless people that knew him and people that heard about him would come and say, "Man, I'm hungry." And I remember one time thinking, I said, "This guy must be bull crapping." Man, he sent me, he said, go get some food for that man. And he had me run to the house, and he was like really upset because the guy was really hungry, stuff like that. It was.
Does he have a book
Um,
The guidelines.
the guidelines
Yes.
that he wrote, he never got them published, and
Because people prostituted it.
just like they do the Bible.
He did give it out. In the early days of MOVE,
He would-
people could get sections of the guidelines free. Dick Gregory asked John Africa to write something on diet and nutrition. John Africa did it. And when Dick Gregory got it, he went crazy. He was like, "This is what I've been looking for." He went crazy. And then he prostituted it.
Yep. Never
Then he
acknowledged where it
prostituted.
came from. Then just prostituted. Yep.
And he's not the only one. But at that point, that's when, John Africa and the MOVE organization said, we can't just give out the guidelines like that. People can get quotes sometimes in the newspaper that John Africa started called First Day. That's the MOVE newspaper. We have 24 issues of it. Every issue starts with the teaching of John Africa, the writings of John Africa.
It was
How do people get that newspaper?
We have a few issues left, like the original papers. I do have some that we cut and pasted so that we can copy it. So I do have some. So if you're interested.
when we was getting them printed again, every printer that we got that was printing our papers, when it got to a certain point, we went back there to look to the office, and they was gone. The government must have paid them off and told them, "You got to get out of here," or pressure them or something. Our book, 25 years on the move, we had this company was printing it, and it was getting so big all over the world. We went to the one company and said, "What's taking them so long?" We get there, and the whole building was empty.
They were gone.
They was gone.
Wow.
The same with our videos. Before the DVDs got big, this one guy, he said, "Man, you just bring all your video. I'll make copies and copies, as many as you want." They were selling so fast. One day, I called him and went down there, and he was gone. That's how, and it's to the point where, like, anybody we get, they're gone. unless we do it ourselves. The state police gave Philadelphia the helicopter to drop the bomb on our family. It might have been a year or two after the bombing. I was in solitary confinement in prison at the time. And this guy was walking to the trailers. He had outside clearance. I was up Dallas, Pennsylvania. And he said, Dale, Carlos, did y'all hear? Because we didn't have no TV or nothing. He said the helicopter they used to bomb your family just blew up with 2 state police in it, right? The state police that gave them the helicopter to drop that bomb, they had articles in their office bragging, this is the helicopter that was used to drop the bomb on the MOVE organization. The guys in prison was getting newspapers. They cut all the articles and sent them up to me in solitary confinement, and me and Dale put them on our wall. This is the helicopter that blew up our family. They blew up. And the thing about it, the helicopter hit some wires or something, blew up, and then fell in some water. And they both of the state police, they gave them the helicopter. They both was in it, and they both went under and died.
Before coming to MOVE, I had basically everything that those running this system tell you that you need in order to be happy and be satisfied. I wasn't rich, but I had money. I had a decent job, you know. I went to college, to Temple University, and was on my way to law school when I met MOVE. You know, I was going to be a lawyer, then possibly a judge. My mother's in my ear saying, you could be the first black, you know, a Supreme Court justice. All this nonsense, right? So this is what I had in my head.
I could see you there, Ramona.
and so when I met MOVE, and I started going to visit MOVE and started going to MOVE trials, everything that I had been taught in school, everything I had been taught to strive for, you know, in order to be happy and content and satisfied and all of that, it went right out the window. Because I sat in those courtrooms and I saw a group of people, MOVE people, who were not intimidated by the courtroom, by the judge, you know, the sheriffs, the cops that were in there, anything. People that spoke up assertively, obviously telling the truth, would not be intimidated. And I was impressed. And I saw the judge, the DA, the cops, the sheriffs, and it was obvious that they were lying, you know, that they were wrong, that wasn't where I wanted to go, where I wanted to be. So I decided I don't want to be like the judge. I don't want to be like the prosecuting attorneys. I don't want to be like the so-called defense attorneys who were appointed to back up MOVE people who represented themselves at that trial. I said, I want to be like MOVE, you know. So I did not go to law school, but I did become a lawyer because I can defend myself in court. I can break down legality and the lack of validity in legality. How it don't mean anything. It's just whatever they say it is at the time. So in terms of what I want to do, you know, for myself and what I would like to see happen or whatever, I just want to be happy. I just want to be healthy, content, satisfied. And I know in order to ever reach that, or to see my family or anybody else reach that, I got to do the work to bring this rotten ass system down.
The fire commissioner and the police commissioner of Philadelphia that were behind dropping the bomb on our family, Ramona had a lawsuit in and they went in 1996. They went on trial in federal court, and every charge that the fire commissioner and the police commissioner were brought up on, they would not charge them with murder, even though they murdered our family. The jury, they picked a jury of their peers, and it was a mostly white jury. They got found guilty. They got found guilty of all the charges. And what did they get, Mom?
They got found guilty. The city of Philadelphia was ordered to pay me $500,000, which is nothing. A woman got $1 million for spilling hot coffee on her at McDonald's.
Also, I want to say that they offered Mona an out-of-court settlement before she went to court, like close to $20 million.
Wow.
It wasn't the money that we was concerned about.
Right.
It was bringing them nasty baby killing. Go ahead.
And they would have let you out if you had repudiated.
Move.
Yeah, they gave her 500,000. But them two, the police commissioner and fire, the judge came back and
They were ordered to pay me $1 a week, every week, each of them, for 11 years, supposedly to symbolize the 11 people that were murdered. $1 each a week. The judge came back and overruled the jury after the jury had rendered its decision,
Right.
and gave them immunity and said they didn't have to pay anything.
Hey, 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 don't you hold me down, no. Don't you see that I am flying? I slip from your grip 'cause I am free. Don't you hold me down, no. Don't you see that I am flying? I slip from your grip 'cause I am free. This wall is just a wall. These bricks were meant to fall. A cider broke through your facade, and so can we, so can we. This wall is just a wall. These bricks were meant to fall. A cider broke through your facade, and so can we, so can we. I said prison break, gotta start to mend these walls. Prison break, the system bring on our soul body. Prison break, tear self-hatred from my tattoo skin. Prison break, and know that we are worthy. Prison break, 'cause we're all locked up, and the only way to freedom is to free ourselves. Prison break, so I inherit the wind, I am a sea. Prison break, dance across the other dangerous weed. Don't you hold me down, no. Don't you see that I am flying? I slip from your grip 'cause I am free. And free, and free, and free, and free, and free. Don't you hold me down, no. Don't you see that I am flying? I slip from your grip 'cause I am free. I am free. I said prison break. All those who came before to bring us freedom. Prison break. Even they started with a vision. So today my voice, it is a siren, lashing out with echoes to dust, but I am the water.